Welcome to Unread. This is the staff reading inbox and comments people made. This is a special edition that's honoring Regis Philbin, who passed away, and we're all mourning his passing. And so a lot of the staff is here who have worked with him a long time. So let me first start with a couple of people who wrote in. Sharon Brown from Frenchtown, New Jersey said, "This morning I noticed there was a butterfly that flew behind Kelly. That was Regis. The meaning of the butterfly is life. He is with you, Kelly." Or sometimes when you see a rainbow, other people think that that's like a meaning that someone visiting you from the past.
A fan, Cheryl Swain from Muskegon, Michigan, wrote in and said, "I am a 65-year-old retired school teacher who has been teased for never answering my phone between 9 and 10 a.m. during the summer breaks, snow days, or holiday breaks because of Regis. Of course, because of the brilliance of all of you, I have never stopped watching." And I feel like Cheryl speaks for many, many fans across the country and Canada.
That's terrific. And do you have any memories? I mean, you were a longtime producer. You were an intern. You were my assistant.
Yeah, so I do. I have quite a few, but I mean, I started as an intern, but my one memory that sticks out forever, that has always stuck out, was when we were taping our show from Los Angeles. And Regis had just come off the set of Deal or No Deal. He did a behind the scenes tape piece with Howie, and Howie had a stunt double. And Regis couldn't understand, why doesn't Regis have a stunt double? And so we were in our production meeting, and Michael, you thought it would be hilarious to find a stunt double for Regis. We thought we would surprise him with a stunt double. So, you know, we were looking for Regis lookalikes in the mall nearby. Couldn't find one, so you said, "Chef, you're about his height. You could pass for Regis. Throw on a suit." I put on a suit.
That's great.
I put on a suit. I put on a wig, and you guys said, "Don't talk. Just come out with your hands moving." And he had no idea we were doing this, and we surprised him with the stunt double. And here I came.
That is so hysterical. I remember that.
It was quite a moment, and he was cracking up when he realized it was me.
Yes.
Just so many memories, so many great conversations.
That's great.
You know, it's an honor to work with a legend like Regis. So.
No, but Regis was always so warm and engaging, and he was, like everybody said, who he was on television. But back in 1999, this one thing struck me that I find very funny. The Sixth Sense was out, that movie, and Regis was always out going to the movies, always at the premieres. He was up on everything. Every night he was out doing something, and he would come back the next day and talk about it. And he was talking about this movie, and I honestly can't remember what he felt about the movie. I wasn't sure, maybe he didn't understand how the movie ended, maybe there was something to that. But there was something happening as I was sitting on the stairs just watching the show from the corner where the producers, normally stay at that point in time. And I feel the camera zooming in, and as Regis is telling this story about the Sixth Sense, I see my face and my body up on the camera monitor, and he's talking about Haley Joel Osment. Looks like somebody on our staff. And I'm engaged. I look up, and he has a camera right on my face. He's talking about me. I was like mortified. I didn't know what to do. It was hilarious. It was just such a funny moment. And I have to say,
there is a resemblance.
I think he's right.
Yeah. There's a little bit.
My God, he's
maybe the haircut. I don't know.
A much younger time, but it was just one of those funny moments. And like everybody was talking, Regis getting hungry. Regis needs a snack. And he had just gotten that McDonald's card for life, where he could use it anywhere at any McDonald's.
Right.
And he was so happy about that. He'd been talking about it on the air. So of course, Regis wants to go to McDonald's, so we went looking for McDonald's, and we get there, we walk in, and Regis couldn't be prouder with that McDonald's card. And the people working in there are all taking, they can't believe what they are watching unfold before them. So many great stories.
Well, but I thought that wasn't the end of that story that they gave him he gave the card, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this doesn't work." The card worked.
Yes. I don't remember.
At the end, it didn't work. Like they didn't accept it for some reason.
Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, well this is, for some reason there was like an issue which was even more Regis.
Funny.
Like, oh. So Dolores, you're the longest running member of the staff. You beat me, I think, by a year or two at the station. Tell me your story, Dolores.
Well, I feel like everyone else. I feel so fortunate and grateful to have worked with such a TV icon, Regis Philbin, for the full 28 years. He hosted the show, starting with, as he called it, the little piece of slime show. It was the morning show with Cindy Garvey and later Kathy Lee Gifford. And there's a part of me that feels like I was destined to work with him, because before coming to ABC, I worked at CBS News in the research department and with a young woman named Betty Bosher. And she would talk about her celebrity cousin all the time, who lived in California, and it was Regis. And at the time, I didn't know who he was. I had no idea who this man was. And so fast forward, 4 years, I'm working as a production secretary for the morning show with Regis Philbin. And when I told him I used to work with his cousin Betty and how she talked about him all the time, he was so thrilled and touched. And he said he would spend his summers with her family in Tuckahoe, his aunt. And so that was great. And then, so we connected from that moment on, and he would always tease me or poke at me for one thing or another. I mean, he loved my laugh, and he would walk, like every morning I see you and him go to the bathroom and his toothbrush, like everyone said, and he would say, "What's going on, Big D?" And I just laugh. And then he gave everyone a nickname. You knew you were in when you got a nickname. And I remember having a conversation with him, and out of that came Ask Dolores. Ask Dolores.
Yeah.
Where that came from. So he was truly one of a kind. He was an everyday man, a great broadcaster, a true icon. He was born to entertain. He was my mentor, and I've learned so much from him. I am so grateful to have known him. He truly enriched my life and made a lasting impact on so many people. He will be missed, and I just thank him for the laughter and the memories.
That's great.
Beautiful.
That's beautiful.
That's so wonderful to see.
It was heartwarming. I still have these images of Regis waiting for the green light before the show with his briefcase. I mean, I know it's a short walk, but just the idea of this huge icon walking to work. So sweet, so humble, such a wonderful guy. And he would, talk to guests waiting outside, what have you. But just the idea of this, man walking to work with his briefcase, it's heartwarming. And that's one of many precious Regis moments where he's just the regular guy.
Do you have any great memories? I know you spent a lot of time.
I did. I mean, I was saying that the thing that stands out, before you came in every morning to go over the stuff for the show, he had a meeting with me. And so I had to be prepared he wanted to hear all about my life. I had to have like a mini host chat with him every morning, but he wouldn't say what he did, and I had to say what I did. And if he liked it, the fear was that if he liked your story, he would go, "You just made the show." And then you would live in fear as your story was being told. And I just want to also share, I was reminded of this by my now ex-husband, but that he was so much a part of my courtship and wedding and engagement. And he was such a pot stirrer. Like, he wanted to create trouble between people. And so if he was having trouble with me, or I told him a story where I was like in a fight with David, who he nicknamed Butch, he would say, "Oh, that's it. It's time for a personal and confidential note." And he would write a note, seal it in an envelope, and send it home with me, and I wasn't allowed to look at it. But I do want to just read one of these notes, if that's all right. Sure. He said, "Butch, she was murdered this morning. She's all yours for the weekend. Good luck, and God bless, Regis." And I mean, I have like 20 of these notes that he wrote to just kind of,
so sweet. Yeah.
But I'll miss him. I mean, he was, like a second father to me, and now I'm going to cry. But it's really sad. And he was such an amazing man, you know, just like cared about everybody.